We are remembering the life and legacy of the king of pop, Michael Jackson, all morning long. Autopsy scheduled within the next few hours. But there's one man, Brian Oxman, a former attorney for the Jackson family. He says Michael Jackson was surrounded by enablers who did not help him when he needed help. And Mr. Oxman joins me now this morning. First, thank you for being here. You actually spoke of these folks who didn't help him, and he actually was over-medicating, and it had a lot to do with these drugs. Your quote was exactly that the Anna Nicole Smith case is nothing compared to what happened with Michael Jackson. So, do you know exactly what he was taking, what kind of medication he was on?
I have not discussed what the medications that he is on because I think that's a matter for Michael's privacy, which should not be discussed. My main point has been that I talked to this family about it. I warned them. I said that Michael is over-medicating and that I did not want to see this kind of a case develop. And in particular, in the Anna Nicole case, I said, if that's what's going to happen to Michael, it's all going to break our hearts. And my worst fears are here. I do not know what the cause of Michael's death was. I don't know if it's cardiac arrest. I don't know if it's an infarct. I don't know if it's a congenital abnormality. We have to await the coroner's results and the toxicological screening to make sure that we know before we can say any kind of allegation to anyone.
Well, Brian, do we know, you said he was over-medicating, but he was getting this stuff from somewhere. Was he surrounded by people who were doing everything they had to do and making sure they kept this medication close by when he wanted it?
He had over-medication, and it was a serious problem. And the exact people who were doing this, I'm not going to point any fingers.
Okay.
All I know is that I had warned that this was a problem. And this is my worst fear. It is a nightmare.
Well, tell me, do you think, give an idea of his state of mind, was Michael Jackson incapable of making these decisions on his own? I mean, was he incapable of realizing the damage he was doing to himself?
Well, I think that anyone who uses medications doesn't really understand what the impact of those medications are to their health or to their body. So Michael was no different than most people. We just do not know what the medications do. He was in pain. He had broken his leg. He had a fractured vertebrae. He definitely was in pain, and that pain was chronic, and he used medications to eliminate that pain. And I don't think anyone who is in that position or condition really knows what the full impact is of those medications.
And last thing here, give us an idea, and I know you're not naming names or anything, but I'm just curious as to who he was surrounded by in his later days and months and years of his life. If it wasn't family members necessarily, and maybe even friends, what type of people were around him?
I'm going to reserve that until I see the toxicology reports. I do not want to make allegations against any specific person.
Oh, no, not making a suggestion about that. Oh, no, not making a suggestion about who.
I made the warning.
Okay.
I warned against this situation, and that's all I did. I thought it was severe, and my reference to Anna Nicole Smith, I thought it was severe and exceeded that severity.
But was he surrounded by friends and family, business colleagues, just people mooching off of him? Who was he surrounded by in his later days?
I don't want to make finger pointing of any kind with respect to the folks. I want to see what the toxicology reports and the autopsy report has to say before we get into any of that. I only know that I was afraid that this would happen, and lo and behold, here we are.
Well, you know what? It's unfortunate that your prediction did, in fact, come true. A lot of people were predicting an early demise. Well, all too soon, people certainly saying today. Mr. Brian Oxman, I appreciate you taking the time out with us today. I know it's a tough time for you. You spent a lot of time with this family and this man over the years. So thank you so much for your time.
He was my friend. He was my friend, and I am going to miss him dearly.
All right. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Oxman, this morning. And we are just a few minutes from the top of the hour.